This is the HSS Interactive Network. Welcome to this edition of Improvement in Action. I'm your host, Phil Nielsen. In the next few minutes, we will explore the history of lean thinking. The principles of mass production were perfected in the United States. The methodology of catering to customer requests was developed in Japan. When the two major efforts combined, the manufacturing world changed forever. Here is how that change came about. During the American Civil War, arms manufacturers abandoned the art of crafting one gun as a single piece, and instituted the manufacture of standardized gun parts, which could be combined and interchanged easily. Meanwhile, meatpacking plants in Chicago developed a technique of moving animal carcasses on a conveyor belt. This allowed meat cutters to stay in place instead of moving from one animal to another. Meat cutters were much more productive under this arrangement. At the turn of the 19th century, Henry Ford combined the idea of standardized parts and what we now know as the assembly line. With these efficiencies, Ford built an automobile that even his own workers could afford to purchase. The weakness in his methodology was an inability to provide variety. Ford only produced one Model T chassis supporting 4 or 5 body styles in one color, black. At about the same time, textile manufacturers in Japan were improving productivity by making looms that would stop when a thread broke. This reduced cost by eliminating scrap. A son of one of those Japanese textile manufacturers was also starting to build automobiles. Kiichiro Toyota built his automobile factory on the idea that volume was important, but allowing special orders and customer input was also important. In order to meet both demands, machines were developed that produced high volumes but could be changed easily. This allowed customization and specialization to become affordable. Then World War II changed everything. To meet the vastly increased demands for war materials in the 1940s, American manufacturers took Ford's ideas to new heights. Work in those plants was reorganized and simplified so new, untrained workers could replace trained workers leaving to serve in the military. The U.S. had to make dramatic increases in volume and in quality to support the war effort. Average quality became unacceptable. Lives could be lost if a shell did not explode correctly or an airplane engine failed during flight. So quality became as important as volume. To meet volume and quality goals, jobs were standardized and documented. This allowed new workers to become productive quickly and produce high volumes of quality output. Unfortunately, after the war ended, veterans returned to their old jobs, which they performed in the old ways. Manufacturers also reverted to their old management styles. Quality began to slip even as volume remained high. Meanwhile, Japan was rebuilding their economy from scratch. Japanese government and industry leaders invited American quality gurus to help combine American and Japanese strategies and tactics developed during the war. During the 1950s and 60s, Japanese manufacturers integrated the American techniques. This helped them move away from producing cheap and shoddy products to fair-priced and quality products. Toyota Car Company was one of those manufacturers. Over the years, Toyota made quality the way they do business. Toyota transformed their entire management structure, their worker training programs, and their compensation plans to reward continued and sustained improvements in all areas of the business. By the late 1980s, they had become one of the leading automobile manufacturers in the world. They were known for their high quality and reasonable prices. Ironically, American industrial leaders took note of the Japanese improvements and began to study their techniques. During the last decade of the 20th century, the Toyota production system became known in America as lean thinking. As lean thinking continues to spread worldwide, leaders are also adapting the tools and principles beyond manufacturing to logistics and distribution, services, retail, healthcare, construction, maintenance, and even government. Lean thinking is just beginning to take root among senior managers and leaders in all businesses and government sectors. Those on the leading edge of this effort have some impressive stories to tell. Before we go, let me encourage you to do 3 things. 1. Begin to look for waste. Whatever causes repeated errors, slows things down, or costs more than it should is a prime candidate to be labeled waste. 2. Discuss potential wasteful issues with your HSS leader. Some waste will be the responsibility of HSS to fix, and some waste will be our customer's opportunity. Either way, your leader can help champion the case for improvement. And 3, share your experience with me. If you are an HSS leader, click on Lean Thinking History Podcast in the discussion board of the Performance Improvement landing page, or you can send me an email message at the address on the screen. Well, that's it for this edition of Improvement in Action. Thanks for joining me, and goodbye until next time.